If any of you are lucky enough to have been gifted this by your grandmother or a friend or an aunt, then congratulations. This is the Five Roses Cookbook. Bread and pastry, etc. This book has been around for many years. You can imagine at one point in time, well, this was obviously a nice light tan. Someone has taken an awl and hung this perhaps somewhere. I'm not quite sure. I do know that this came from my parents' home in Christie Lake, I think. And other than that, I don't know where it would have come from other than an auction. And quite often auctions come with just boxes of things. So this may have been in a box, may have come with Tetley tea figurines that I remember receiving as a child from one of these auctions. But you can see these, this is just so quaint. It's come with its own coupons, which is cute. And it looks like somebody had even been trying out a stamp here, April 8th, 1974. But I'll tell you this book is older than 1974. In fact, copyrighted in 1913. I can tell you that my husband actually went looking for it. We thought we had lost it, and he went looking for it online. And you can buy copies of this book. I would highly recommend it for several reasons. One of which is the fact that this is good old-fashioned cooking. That's perfect. It is a part of our history, part of Canadian history for certain. The other reason is this is way before technology and way before the invention of yeast that you can buy from a store. And I know I did try my own experiment with how to make potato yeast, but it was a real fail. I didn't find the instructions online very helpful. So as I was going through this, I thought I'm going to make a loaf of bread, and that would be one of my episodes, which I am going to do. But when I was going through this, I found recipes and instructions for how to make potato yeast, and then how to make the bread. So this is truly amazing find for me. We traditionally just use this book for our Christmas cookies. We make Aunt Mary's sugar cookies and the shortbread cookies out of this recipe book, and I hadn't really gone too much further into it. But this provides you with instructions on how they actually did things back in the day, just so that, people who are now using automated bread makers, or they use a mixer for kneading the bread, this provides you with really sound instructions. They use a compressed yeast. Now, I think I have some of this. I think that's what they're referring to. I have it in the freezer. But I will do some conversions into what does that mean for the types of yeast that I have. Because they don't even use temperatures in this book. It's a fast oven or a slow oven. So we've kind of rationalized that out for our cookie baking. I'll have to kind of do the same for the bread making, and just see what's going to work. If it says a fast oven, I think that's around the 375 mark. But these just look delicious, and I am really looking forward to, I'll start off with the yeast, making the potato yeast, and then making the associated bread. And as some of you may know, I did try my hand at some county fair activities. I am definitely going to make some of these for next year's county fair. This recipe for good old-fashioned Scotch oat bread is kind of, sounds more like a hardtack to me. And this is actually some good emergency survival food. It will keep for a good period of time as long as you've got it stored in an airtight container. So it's taking a cup of oatmeal, cup of flour, a teaspoon of salt, teaspoon of baking powder, and some butter. I like this, the size of an English walnut or more. Pour that into enough cold water to make a stiff dough, as dry as possible, just like you are making a good pie crust. Spread on the board by hand pressure and keep the edges from parting by supporting it with one hand as you're spreading it with the other. So you're just kind of doing the hand rolling, and then take your rolling pin and smoothing out the surface after that. You're going to get that down to 1/4 of an inch and then cut that into squares. You're going to put that into a moderate oven. Now, a moderate oven, I would say, would be around 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and then you're going to bake it until it is quite hard all the way through. So that is another recipe that I will be trying out for just to have some survival type emergency food on hand. Through the pages, I'm off to the sandwich fillings pages because I thought that this was really interesting as well. Now, some of these things that we know, pâté de foie gras is, well, my version of goose liver. If any of you are from the Appalachians, goose liver is also called Braunschweiger. It's a liver pâté, I guess, a liver sausage, and it is delicious on bread, so I would highly recommend that. But they also have some other things like a hot sardine sandwich or fish sandwiches, which no thank you. And even more exotic, we've got the Russian sandwich, the tartare sandwiches. I don't know of anyone who would eat raw beef these days. That is basically what a tartare, I believe, is. Oh, this one is, no, made with sardines. Oh, that's even worse. Oh, sorry. Sorry I misled you there, but it is worse. And then we have the alcohol and cheese, sherry and cheese sandwiches. But this one is the one that I thought was really interesting. This is a nut salad sandwich. So you're using walnuts and hickory nuts, and you're going to mix that with mayonnaise. And I thought, wow, that's a different idea. I'd never seen that before. And a peanut sandwiches. This is before maybe the advent of well, not the advent of peanut butter, but maybe before peanut butter became so widespread, like it's almost a basic today. The nasturtium sandwiches caught my eye because this is flowers. These are flowers. So we're going to put those into a sandwich. Mushroom sandwich. So apparently back in the day, the possibilities were endless when you didn't have manufactured lunch meat. Onion sandwiches were a thing. Coconut sandwiches were a thing. Banana sandwiches, well, that's still a thing if you top that with peanut butter. Pepper sandwiches. I don't know if I'd ever eat a pepper on a sandwich just as is, but whatever. Fig paste filling for sandwich. And who doesn't like rolls for breakfast? As I mentioned, the only thing that we had used this book for was for the shortbread and Aunt Mary's sugar cookies. You can see we've got our own shorthand here for the ingredient list. When it says a pound or 2 ounces, we had to do the conversion for that. So be prepared. If you're going to buy this book, you want to be able to do the conversions. Just want to see if I can find those Aunt Mary's sugar cookies because they are so delightful. So this is a tradition in our house. Cookies from 1913. And we make these every Christmas. Actually, I shouldn't say we so much as I should say my husband, because my husband is a cookie baker. And the Aunt Mary's sugar cookies, he just uses a cup just to create circular cookies. I like to then, I'll use the various cookie cutters and make different shapes, but he doesn't really care about the shape. He cares about the taste. And then you top it with sugar and other decorative things. Quite often we'll use M&Ms or sprinkles, and they're quite festive. So if you're looking for a good old-fashioned sugar cookie, this is it. So what do I advise? Go to yard sales. Find these types of older cookbooks online, or like I said, from family members. Pick them up, have a few. I've got some from the 80s, and you know, they're still old, and with someone who has lots of memories from the 80s, I find it hard to think that they're almost an antique or classic, but they are. So I would also encourage you to pick up cookbooks that are filled with natural type cooking. So maybe cooking from other ethnic origins, cooking with more natural products, flowers, or things that we would consider weeds that really aren't weeds, and explore. And I'm going to explore tonight. I'm going to make something. Hello, precious. I'm going to make something out of the Five Roses cookbook. So I'm going to use 2/3 of a cup of milk. The only milk I have is a 1%. So I'm going to add a little extra butter. And to that, I'm going to dissolve 2 heaping teaspoons of baking powder. And now we're just going to pour that into the egg mixture. Never having made this before, knowing that this is a very old recipe, I am double checking everything. Found I'd accidentally reached for the baking soda instead of the baking powder, so make sure you've got the right ingredients added. So we're going to try number 2 here. When I set it into the oil, and they say it's supposed to be a hot oil, but I don't think it's going to be this hot. That's okay, we're all learning together. So it's actually not as hot of an oil as it says in the book. So I've taken this right off the element, and it is still cooking, and this looks like it's just about done. There's definitely an art to baking the old-fashioned way and knowing your recipe. So I think this has still got some time. I'm going to actually put the ones that I just took off back in. They aren't real done. So it's going to be a happy medium here between getting them done without burning them. While I'm waiting for these others to complete, my little testers are going to get the cinnamon and nutmeg treatment. So the best way to actually apply your cinnamon and sugar is to dip them fresh out of the pan. That's why you really need to know when it's actually cooked all the way through, because once that sugar's on it, you're not going to be putting it back into the frying pan. So here I am again with another round. Turn the heat down. These are thicker donut, and they're going to take longer to cook all the way through. You can see that, well, we can see the very first ones that I made. Obviously the oil was too hot, they were in too long. I don't even know if they're going to be cooked all the way through. The successive ones that I fried came out better. This last one, the oil was getting hot again, so it's very temperamental. Have any of you made donuts like this, like maybe from an old-fashioned recipe or with a grandma? Let me know in the comments below. Well, these are looking better. Still got a ways to go. This one is very thick. But I'm not a professional cook. I'm just an average Jane, and I'm just trying to figure things out. You guys are my company. So if you've got any ideas, let me know. And I would really like to know if anybody's ever made these before, especially if they've got any tips, because this is definitely something I'll make again. I know I could use a deep fryer, but I am trying to stay away from the seed oils, and I know this would be a lot better with rendered lard, but I'm saving mine, so I'm just using that vegetable ghee. And I'm not really quite sure if the temperature difference is enough to, cause that burning. But anyway, I am thinking I'm going to have close to a dozen donuts here out of this one batch. Well, if you grew up in a house similar to mine, Mom would eat this one because she wouldn't want to give that to anybody else. But the rest of them are looking pretty good. I've got a couple more to go, but they're going to take a longer time because they were way thicker. I was just getting a little, I guess I just wanted to get through the cooking. It's hot. And I thought, oh, well, I only need 3 more, but they are 3 very large ones. So we'll just go with these for now. I'm going to try one and I'll let you know what they taste like. So they all look really good. I'm just going to try one from the middle of the pack and see what it tastes like. But it's really good. So I highly recommend it. If you do try it, please leave me a message in the comments below. Let me know how it turned out. Sorry. It's a little hard to talk with a mouthful of delicious donut. Also, if you have other donut recipes, especially ones from Grandma or your great aunt, please feel free to share. It's great when you can make things yourself. You know what's in them. You know who's touched them. So I highly recommend. The more you can do for yourself, the stronger you are. And the better it is for your kids and your family when you're feeding them what you know. So if you like this video, feel free to like and subscribe. Become one of the tribe, and together we'll survive.